So this week I'm going to be talking about millennial madness. I guess you could say that I'm going to be talking about my generation. And basically I'm going to be discussing why people are so obsessed and what's being said about millennials. Woo! So my first trend is called generational marketing grafts. And it's kind of an interesting breakdown of what millennials like, what they eat, how they fall politically, and it's actually a rather positive take on millennials, which you don't see a lot. So it's really well designed, it has fairly good information, and it's kind of just an entertaining read. This trend is called Doomed Millennial Infographics, and it's by onlinecollegeprograms.com. And in contrast to the last trend, it's actually a very negative take on millennials, which you actually hear a lot, so at least they're being upfront about it. It basically talks about how sort of screwed my generation is in terms of employment and in terms of school and money. As much as I like how honest this is, it's kind of playing into the idea that millennials are always like complaining. So I don't know if I love it too much, but it has a lot of interesting information. So my next trend is called Generation Y foodie grafts. And this, above everything else I'm discussing this week, just shows me sort of the ways in which I don't relate to most of the people I know who are my age. So this talks about sort of Generation Y's obsession with like healthy eating and wanting to know where their food comes from. There's a lot of interesting information here that could help out both millennials and marketers to help sort of figure out what they want. So my next trend is called amusing abbreviation stationery, and it comes from Fred Flair. So this is just a notepad basically, but it has all sorts of like sort of tech short forms. So it says, OMG, IMHO, and it gives you sort of categories to check off. Nothing too groundbreaking here, but I think it's a really clever way to sort of update things to suit a generation more specifically. This is a really interesting approach taken by Talk and Stock, and they're a Brazilian furniture manufacturer. So basically, unlike most stores where you go and just sort of buy your furniture and it comes with a couple sheets with instructions, they actually tweet the instructions for building their furniture instead. So clearly they're trying to target a younger, more social media savvy generation. I think this is kind of a clever and probably more eco-friendly way of going about this problem. So good on them. So if you want to interact with a millennial like myself, tweet me at CourtneyKV.